welcome to Value for Money, a program where we give you tips on how to make the most of your money. Let's take a look at what you can expect to see on the show today. New Age cab services, that's in our What's New segment. And in our Great Indian Bazaar, we take a look at the agarbatti industry in Assam.
They can relieve stress, bring down your blood pressure, and can be your best friend on a lazy Sunday. A hobby does it all. But imagine the same stress buster actually adding to your investment coffers. Don't be surprised, because there's money to be made of literally anything and everything you collect. From school-time hobbies of collecting stamps and coins to more seasoned ones of art, hobbies can be the next best thing to stocks and mutual funds without ever worrying about crashes or slides. Or so Shruti Jain thinks. She has been collecting coins for the past 4 years. Her speciality? Coins from the Mughal era. Shruti spends most of her time reading catalogs, trying to learn more about Indian history and culture. She is now slowly beginning to understand the potential flip side of this hobby.
For the time being, I'm a collector. It's my hobby. But later, 10-15 years down the lane, for me, probably it will be an investment, yes, with the growing competition.
Just to put it in perspective, Tayyab Mehta's Mahishasura sold for over 7 crores in the year 2005. A 50 rupee Bengal note sold for 5.5 lakh rupees. An autograph of Bapu is generally priced at around 2 lakhs. And for a slightly lesser known public figure like Raja Ram Mohan Roy's letter, this would go for around 1 lakh. So even if investment in art fetches you higher returns, you can pocket a handsome amount in these alternatives as well. If preserved well and timed appropriately, the same pieces of work can fetch you returns of at least 15 to 20%, if not more. The key is to pick up a theme and keep an eye out for rare collections. Ravi Somani's hobby room boasts of masterpieces like the autographs of the first 3 men on the moon and sportsmen like Michael Schumacher and Lance Armstrong. He also has a signed picture of all the James Bonds till date, and this is only some of them. As of now, Ravi does not look at his collections from an investment point of view, but keeps himself abreast of how much value rests in this hobby room.
We put just one or two, like for example this 3 men in the moon. I picked it up for about $2,000 US outside India in year 2006 beginning, 1.5 years back, and I think it is nearly 2 times now of that value.
Ravi collects autographs, stamps and coins, and one of his most treasured pieces is a set of silver stamps of Queen Elizabeth. So rare that he is one among 2,000 odd people in the entire world to own this set. But this is not all. Ravi has also picked up 1 or 2 autographs and kept it in the safe hands of an international organization called Stanley Gibbons. This UK-based body acts as a bank, an auctioneer and an investment advisor when it comes to stamps and autographs. He has entered into a clause where Stanley Gibbons holds on to an autograph or stamp for a fixed number of years, after which Ravi can decide to take it back from them or sell it back to them. So this is how it works for a collector like Ravi Somani dealing with an organization like Stanley Gibbons. For example, if Ravi had invested 10,000 rupees in stamps for a fixed period of 10 years at a predetermined rate of 7%, This means that at the end of 10 years, he is guaranteed a return of 17,000 rupees. However, if the value of stamps increases at an average of 10% per annum, the price of Ravi's stamps would have risen to 25,900 rupees at the end of 10 years. Ravi then can choose to sell his stamps at a Stanley Gibbons auction or sell it back to Stanley Gibbons for 75% of the price prevalent after 10 years. That is 19,425 rupees. So, Ravi stands to make a profit of 15%. However, such trading can happen only in Western markets. In India, trading in such products is still fairly unorganized. Also, the Indian antique law can be restrictive to those of us who want to buy or sell coins and more.
See, we have Archaeological Survey of India, which has a rule that anything more than 100-year-old is called antique. Coin you don't have to record with ASI. Exemption is with coins and stamps. Nevertheless, you cannot take them out of the country, and possibly rightly so, and you cannot transact in them without a license.
But before you start collecting any piece of art, make sure you get it from a genuine source. A big threat is forgery and fake products. So before paying big money, ask for a certificate of authenticity and check for holograms. Once you have invested in them, preserve them well. Coins can go bluish. Currency notes and autographs can tear. The better condition they are in, the more money you stand to make.
For a big size autograph, one should always be careful before investing or purchasing that it should be authentic. There are some guidelines like one has to see that when the autograph was signed, how the possessor, how the current seller is in the possession.
I'm holding a piece of history in my hands, a very rare photograph of Adolf Hitler with his very own signature. For people like Ravi and Shruti, collecting autographs, coins and stamps might just be a hobby. But given time, patience and a little bit of homework can become a serious mode of investment, giving returns as high as 15 to 20%.
If you have any comments to make on that story, all you need to do is write to us at valueformoney@ndtv.com. You can also SMS us at 6388. Value for Money returns after a short break.